Hey guys, SudoTech here. Welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm going to be showing you how to install a Drupal website on your Ubuntu server. Now, you can do this on any type of server platform, but I'm going to assume that you have an Apache server running and set up, MySQL installed, and PHP installed. If you don't have those last two installed, just run apt-get install MySQL and PHP to get them all set up. I'll take the configuration on from there. So in case you're wondering, a Drupal website is a CMS, and that is a content management system. Basically, Drupal does all this magic behind the scenes that allows you to super easily create your own website however you want with a lot of customization, but it manages content in a MySQL or any kind of other database that you'd like to use. So it makes it super scalable, easy to read on mobile and desktop operating systems, and just all around easy to manage. It's a great way to manage a very complex and good-looking website, and a lot of large companies actually use Drupal for their websites. All the commands that I'm going to be showing you guys in this video are at sudotech.ml, so feel free to look it up over there, and you should be able to search through the previous videos to find the one on Drupal and how to install it. It's going to be a very similar website to the one I'm creating this video, but it's slightly different, so they're not the same, just don't worry about that part. I'd also like to mention a slight difference with my Apache. I'm using multiple domains that are hosted on the same server, so my default directory kind of style is /var/ww and then /sudotech.ml. There's a couple of other folders for other domains, but that's what I'm going to be installing it to. Then finally /public_html. If you're using Apache just right out of the box, your default directory will be /var/ww/html, and that's analogous to the one that I'm using, so feel free to substitute it whenever you need to, and I should be clear to point that out further in the video. Let's get right into configuring MySQL. Type mysql-u root and -p to log into the database. You might be asked for a password, or you might have to create a password depending on if you've used MySQL before. Once you're all in, do create database Drupal, and don't forget the little semicolon. Next, we're going to create the Drupal user by doing create user, Drupal user at localhost, identified by, and then 2 single quotes with their password in between them. Pick whatever you want, but this is the password for the user, and you're going to have to use it to access the database in just a moment. Finish off with a semicolon and enter. This is the part where I'm really going to recommend you go over to my website and just check out the code because it's kind of long, but you're going to want to write grant, select, comma, insert, comma, update, comma, delete, comma, create, comma, drop, comma, index, comma, alter, comma, create, space, temporary tables, comma, lock, spaced, tables on, finished off by Drupal.star, so we're referencing the database here, to Drupal user at localhost. This is basically going to give all these permissions to our Drupal user so that we can create our Drupal website. Finish off with a semicolon. We're going to flush the privileges just to make sure that it's all good to go. Finish that off with a semicolon too, by the way. Finally, type exit without any semicolon, press enter, and that'll get you out of the MySQL command prompt. If you didn't do what I said before and installed MySQL and PHP, then this would be a great time. So let's run apt-get update and do those if necessary. We're also going to install a few additional packages using apt-get install php-gd, php-curl, php-dom, php-xml, and libssh2-1. These are some required libraries by Drupal, and they're just PHP libraries that we need to use. Alright, there's 2 settings that we have to configure in PHP before we move on. Use nano to edit /etc/php. Then we're going to do the version number, so /7.0 in my case, but if you're watching this in the future, or if you're somehow on an older version, then you're going to have to edit this accordingly. Once you're there, go to /apache2 /php.ini, and that's the file that we want to edit. We're going to have to find 2 lines and change them, so use Ctrl-W to just search the entire document. Find the expose_php section, make sure it's set to off, and the allow URL fopen section, and also make sure that that is set to off. Finally, do Ctrl-X, Y, enter to save the document. Next, we're going to do a little bit of Apache configuration to make sure that it's able to rewrite the URLs. This is going to just make the URLs a little bit cleaner in our Drupal website and make it nicer for the users. First, enable the correct module with the simple command a2nmod rewrite. Use nano to edit /etc/apache2 /sites-enable and the 00-default.conf. For these, remember that you can just use tab to autocomplete it once you have a little bit of the file name put in. If you haven't already filled out the server name and server alias for security reasons, just go ahead and do that. We're not going to use a server admin right now, and also the document root for me is a little bit different, but yours will be /var/www/html most likely. That's because I have some fancy things going on with my server, as I explained earlier. That just basically means that I can have multiple sites on one server. If you'd like me to make a tutorial on that, feel free to leave some comments below. It's pretty simple, and I can definitely get to it. We're going to add a couple lines, so head over to my website again and just copy and paste the code, editing it how you need to. We're going to have 2 tags for a directory. So the first one is directory /var/www/html, or in my case, /www/sudotech.ml/public_html, simply because mine's slightly different. Enter, then do a tab in from there, like normal HTML you would, and do allow override, in camel case with the A capitalized, set to all. On the next line, just do an end tag of /directory. Alright, same thing, do Control X, Y, and Enter to close out of there. Now that we've made these changes, we're going to quickly restart Apache. To do this, do service apache2 restart. It'll take a moment, but then it'll show you the command prompt, and that means that it's all ready to go. Next comes the exciting part where we're actually going to get Drupal. Use CD to navigate to /var/www, not /html. Then go ahead online and go to the Drupal website, which is drupal.org. Navigate to the download and extend section and find the download for the .tar.gz file of the latest Drupal. Go ahead and right-click on it to copy the link, then go back to your terminal. From the www folder, which you should already be at, use wget and then paste the URL that you just copied to download the file. If you have an HTML folder already in that directory, go ahead and delete it now. We're going to create it in just a moment. If you have stuff in there, make sure you've backed it up like a separate website. Next, we're going to do tar-xzvf, and then start typing Drupal, and then just use tab to autocomplete it. This will unpack the .tar.gz file, and then finally use mv to move the Drupal file to a directory called HTML, and this will just automatically create a new one and put all of your stuff into it. Your Drupal server is pretty much all the way set up, but we're going to do a little bit more just to make sure it runs smoothly and we can install it. Use makedir to create a directory html/sites/default/files, and then navigate to the default directory. Use cp or copy to copy the default.settings.php to settings.php, which is a new file. When you're done with that, go back to the root. Use chown www-data:/www-data-r/html to move everything in the HTML folder to the Drupal user and Drupal group, which is www-data. We're going to use chmod-r555 on the entire folder, then chmod 664 on html/sites/default/settings.php, and finally chmod-r774 on html/sites/default/files. We're going to lock down the settings.php slightly more because this is kind of a security risk to have it open, but that'll be after we actually install it because it needs to be edited by the system when we go ahead and install Drupal. The next step is to either go to the IP or the URL that you have registered to your server. You should be greeted by the Drupal installation page, so select Standard Installation, Save, and Continue. If everything is alright, you'll actually just skip the Verify Requirements section, but that's a good place that if you do have errors to check out, and that'll tell you exactly how you can fix them. In the database configuration, we're going to put database name as Drupal, the database user as Drupal user, and the database password as whatever you set the password of the user to. Save and continue without even bothering with the advanced options. This will install Drupal, which could take a while, but just wait through it. When you're done with that, you're going to have to configure the site. Go ahead and give it a name, and then create a username and password for the user that you want to set up initially. This will be an administrator user. You can either give them an email address that's on the server, so if you have an email server set up, but I'm actually going to give them a Gmail email address because I'm going to have a plugin later on that'll allow me to do that. Set the time zone and just save when you want notifications. Once you click save and continue, you should be dropped at your main page, which will look pretty nice at this point. We're not going to do much here. If you'd like a further tutorial on how to actually configure your Drupal server and make it look pretty and useful and everything like that, please let me know. For now, we're going to do a little bit more permissions just to lock it down. The original structure that we defined is fairly secure, but depending on how you use your server, it's always a good idea to put in some custom things just to work it best for you. Of course, it's always important to use chmod 444 on settings.php, so go ahead and do that on html/sites/default/settings.php just to lock that down and make it as secure as possible. But that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed making a Drupal website. If you did, please leave a like below so that other people can find this video. And that's about it. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.